our demo instance and open up Strategic Planning Workspace. I'll start by introducing a fictional organization that has mainly 3 portfolios that they're looking at: AI, ML, digital workplace, finally ESG and sustainability ops. Those will be the 3 in scope portfolios that we're taking a look at today, followed by one last one that connects all of these. We'll call this one the strategy level plan. So these are all three-year roadmaps focusing on strategic priorities and the corresponding initiatives that are making up those efforts. So we're going to take a look at the strategy layer right now when this loads up. All right. So Strategic Planning Workspace, is making up of a number of different modules. There's a feedback module, portfolio planning, enterprise agile planning, dashboards, and then some resource capacity planning and stuff. For the bulk of this demo, we're going to be focused on portfolio planning and some of the reporting capabilities that come out of that. So here at the top layer, you can see we're going to be taking a look at all the goals that the organization has set. So if I take a look, just scrolling down all the way at the bottom, we can see how our organization's goals are aligned to strategic priorities that have been set. So goals for the 3 years that we're looking at are, or strategic priorities for the next 3 years we're looking at are accelerating intelligent automation, advancing sustainability and circular economy, improving experiences with personalization and insights, operationalize responsible AI and governance, reduce financial and operational risk, and scale AI and digital infrastructure. That being said, scroll up to the top here. The goals dashboard provides a quick overview that you can dynamically filter by a number of different, number of different attributes depending on what you're trying to look at. Along the top here, you can see the total progress across all goals that have been set for this particular portfolio plan. So this is looking at all 3 of the portfolios that I mentioned previously: AI and machine learning, digital workplace transformation, and ESG. You can see the breakdown of how those individual portfolios are working towards those and what the progress is at. Next up, you can see different status levels that we have. So red, amber, green across the 11 goals that the organization set. Again, we have a breakdown by portfolio where you can just quickly take action and see where you might need to step in on things. Let's jump over to the goals list. You can just see a quick breakdown of not only the goals, you can group and ungroup all of these and just see the high-level goals or OKRs that have been set, but then also what makes up those in form of targets. So from this menu here, you can see each individual target. When you're looking to, you can establish check-in periods along the way or different time boxing things. Hey, we want to have this goal for this particular year or this particular month. However you want to structure the system is incredibly flexible to support those. But this is just a kind of one-stop shop where you can go and check status or make updates on the fly. So right now, these are all manually set, just providing manual data across the way where you can provide updates depending on whatever frequency you want to have checkpoints at. But one of the benefits of leveraging goals and targets within ServiceNow is that if you're using something like, let's say, ITSM, you have the ability to leverage data or leverage reports or automated indicators that you've built out across your instance to track the progress in real time. Like all of these are currently set in as manual updates, but if you were to have a goal or a target that was set for reducing tier 1 HR and IT case handling time by 40%, you could plug that into the automated indicator that takes place in HRSD as an example, or something that's looking at incident data on the ITSM side and track in real time. What is our average MTTR going on over that time, and leverage that as the way to provide status for that particular target. But in this case here, this is all manually driven by just updates that you can make to the actuals to date attribute, which I'll expand a little bit. So as an example here, go and take a look and update this one to, let's just say 20% right now. So this dynamically updates 50% for the progress for this particular target. But then if you roll up to the parent goal that's looking at accelerating intelligent automation, you can see that that also updated as well. In addition to that, I'll also expand or bring in, let's hide this. And you can see the corresponding strategic priority that all of these align up and roll up to. So previously on that dashboard, just going back, you have the ability to see, all these goals broken out by strategic priorities. Just quickly zero in and identify something that needs to be, a more emphasis or focus on. So I'll scroll down a bit here and take a look at improving customer insights with Gen AI. We can see that this one, we've got it yellow right now. So there's a couple targets that are falling behind or have not really had any work started on them yet. Launch Gen AI powered sentiment dashboards for 3+ product lines by Q1 2026, and also reach 90% reach 90% summarization accuracy on structured customer feedback by Q2 2027. If I was to go in and click in on these, you can take a look at specifically, who's contributing to that goal, what are the metrics, how are we tracking it, what's the check-in frequency for it before, whether that's a monthly or quarterly, whatever it may be. You have the ability to add comments and different attachments on this, but wanted to highlight a couple areas where we can take a look at what projects or what planning items and work is contributing to the success or working towards that goal. So for improving customer insights with Gen AI, some of the aligned work efforts that we have right here, looks like we've got a couple of demands and projects associated with this one, or projects that have been converted from demands. Document Intelligence V1 system rollout, and also Sentiment Insights MVP. Looks like this project's currently in yellow. So we can revisit that, or we can look at specifically, what's involved with that particular project directly from that space as well. I'll revisit that in a moment. All right, next up, let's go and let's take a look at some of the prioritization. So if we go down to scoring here, you can take a look at, we've got all 3 portfolios that I mentioned before in this particular portfolio plan. So we've got these grouped by the different portfolios, but you have flexibility in bring in any different attribute that you want to group or sort, filter by, to see if you're leveraging business applications or products or business services capabilities. You have the ability to just bring those in and take a different lens on that. Or if you have a portfolio plan that's, for a different persona, whether it's, we've seen portfolio plans that are more for like, product teams. So if we have demands or ideas and feedback coming in, we can use portfolio plans, albeit with limited functionality, to use this as a prioritization mechanism. So on this note here, there's a couple of different frameworks that are out of box here. For this one, we're using WizChief, but there's a couple other out-of-box frameworks that are involved here, that just based on product management, best practices, and things like that. But you have a quick breakdown of how you want to score these demands and or projects, and how you want to provide data-driven details to make data-driven decisions that come in, and how you want to plan on where you want to put your investments in this case. So all of these from this view here. It's common for us to see organizations that have a triage meeting where they're going through these in real time and just going on the fly and making updates to these and dynamically updating the prioritization score. So I can go and sort all of these and maintain the groupings of this one just to see what's scored the highest and what seems to be the most valuable for the organization and for this particular team. So WizChief's a common one, looking at user business value, time criticality, risk reduction, and job size. You can quickly jump into each of the records just to see what that work entails. So if these were all demand records that were coming in from an intake pipeline, you have the ability to start to recognize what that request initially is, and then also start to take action with like identifying some of the financials or costs associated with it. In this case here, we could just start to click through some of these. Let's start with resourcing, actually. So you can take a look at this project. Some of the resource assignments that we have is, this is going to require a UX designer and a data scientist over the course of these fiscal periods. Jumping along, you can see the particular financials that are associated with this, and you have the ability to do budgeting straight from strategic planning workspace now. So if we have any folks on the call that have been using investment funding or one of the legacy solutions within ServiceNow, we've been helping customers migrate to strategic planning workspace, where ServiceNow made a lot of investments over the past couple releases and will continue to do so, adding in different capabilities and things like that. But budget allocation was a big one in a recent update. Yeah, so now you've got under the financials tab, you've got all cost plans. So previously, it's still on the record, but if you take a look at a project or demand record in the related list, you'd see all different cost plans and stuff. Now that's been consolidated into this view where you can now do budget forecasting and take a look at anything financial related directly from this workspace. So moving along, we've got this is the data point that connects into the goals dashboard that was shown before. So this project's related to improving customer insights with Gen AI. And then finally, we've got just high level milestones. And so these are project tasks. If you take a look at the project record, which we'll jump into, but that are just denoted as milestones that appear in this view. So leadership or portfolio managers, whatever that persona might be, can quickly see what the high-level milestones are for a project without needing to go in and see all of the detailed project task and who that's assigned out to. Things like that. Product ideas and feedback. This is similar to like the idea portal, but it's the kind of the next evolution of it. Feedback provides a way for customers or end users to on the spot provide feedback, and ServiceNow has mechanisms for doing some sort of sentiment analysis to just be able to provide product managers, probably most common, just some additional insight on how they would want to prioritize or introduce new enhancements or address bugs and things like that. Some of the work that we've done with customers is implement chat op solutions that take a look at a customer's or allow customers to look at Microsoft or use Microsoft Teams or Slack to just do a basic command that's /feedback. They're presented with a drop down selection of different products or business applications that they're working on, and then they can quickly chat what the feedback is. Hey, this view isn't working, or I'm getting an error message at this one, or hey, I'd like to see this particular capability automated to an extent, and things like that. From this view here, I'll just quickly jump over to the monetary benefit plans that you can populate here for these initiatives. And just you have this all consolidated so that you can see when you go back here, you can see all the financials related to this. So you can see the total plan cost for each initiative and total plan benefit. And just as a note, we're going to save probably 5-10 minutes to the end if there's any questions here. So don't have the ability to see the audience or anything like that here. So if there's any questions, just please throw them in the chat, and we'll make sure to address those. And if there's any follow-ups after this, we can address those as needed. Appreciate it. All right. So let's jump down. So that was prioritization and scoring here. A lot of flexibility in different frameworks that you can use to do this. So we covered goals, we covered scoring, and now we'll cover planning. So planning is made up of 4 modules. I think we've got 3 of them to share, it looks like right now, but we've got prioritization, the roadmap, and a financials view where you can do, scenario planning and things like that. So I'm going to group this by portfolio if we have it. Otherwise, yeah, let's bring that in. And again, if you had portfolios that are specific to like a product team, things like that, you could group this by product or business application, a way to see, okay, what's our roadmap and how are we prioritizing things by different products, but still be able to maintain that flexibility of seeing everything in one consistent portfolio plan. So here you've got a high-level view of the prioritization score that it was aligned to, and just some additional data points. And this is just really a list view of all planning items, whether it's a project or a demand or an epic, or any custom planning item that you've introduced. And you can just start to bring in whatever attributes you want. Hey, what's the status of this? What's the priority? What's our current progress? And then, certainly financials associated with that. So let's jump over to the roadmap, where you can start to see our first nice Gantt chart visual of all the planning items that are associated in this one. I think for the most part, these are all just demands and projects, but from this view, you have the ability to click in and see. I think I teased it a little bit earlier, but you have the ability to see what the high-level milestones are associated with this particular project, along with any other quick details that you can jump into. I'll turn on tracking mode quickly just so you can see an even better visual that encompasses how the kind of whatever data points you pull into to track progress of that. So sentiment insights MVP. I think earlier we looked at this from a goal perspective. The goal was yellow because of the project was turning yellow. Yeah, so you have the ability just to drill down into the project from there, but I'll stop right there and we can introduce that in a second. All right, let's take a look at, just to tie things off at the strategic level, let's take a look at scenario planning. So one of the most valuable features that we have with strategic planning workspace is the ability to define scenarios for building out your roadmaps, whether it's 3 years or whether it's just a fiscal year, whatever the length may be. You have the ability to see like, hey, if we introduce these projects, what would our benefits look like? So you can create a number of different scenarios to plan out your roadmap steering, and then you can include certain planning items in that, and just take a look at different scenarios as it relates to what's the overarching benefit going to look like, or hey, if we decide to focus our efforts on AI compared to like digital workplace transformation, you have the ability to just compare and contrast that. So I just jumped into a scenario that's been built out. So along the left-hand side here, you can see the portfolio outcomes of going with this particular one. And you can also simulate things too. Like, so you can build these out on the fly. You have the ability to like add and remove projects, or all that flexibility of, hey, if we want to, not exclude this project, we want to punt on this project and move this to another fiscal year. We have the ability to work with that and just see how different scenarios would play out. But at a high level, you can see the high-level financials. So you define targets for each particular scenario. So I think with this one, we had $2 million over the course of each fiscal year, spread over CapEx and OpEx. You can see the total simulated budget that's based on work that has been applied. So in this particular one, we have additional funding to take on new projects or new work that might be coming in from our central demand intake. And finally, total benefit associated with just executing this plan right here. So right now, total simulated budget of $1.1 million. So we're operating under budget right here. We're also where we have a greater benefit than the amount of money that we're putting into this one. And down here at the bottom, you can also see how those align to different organizational goals that have been set. So this portfolio plan is focused on an executive team leadership that's looking at overseeing all portfolios or how things have been built out. But you can think of building out portfolio plans is definitely persona based. Like I mentioned before, like this could be leadership, or this could be product team that's focused on prioritizing enhancements for their product backlog, things like that. So there's a lot of flexibility in how you build these out.